Hi, everybody. It's Robert here, and I am here with, once again, Joey, the Veiled Cottage Witch. How you guys doing today? We've been doing a series where we are breaking down the cards for everybody. We've already gone through cards 0 through 7 twice. Don't ask. But we did get it, and you're right, I didn't grab my tea. It's sitting over there. I'll go get it in a second. Um, the Let's turn this so we have some lightage. How about that? Okay. Um, what we want to do is break down how we view the cards. Um, there's different realms through the major arcana that is covered. We've already covered the first realm, physical. Now we're going to deal with the mental realm, which is mental realm, right? And the third realm, spiritual realm, will be the last 7 cards that we cover. But for now, we're doing the mental realm and how the major arcana relates to us in readings. How we'll just all kinds of talk with it. All right, so let's get started. The first card we have, you got that? It's kind of shiny, but it's strength. Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Now, Joey, what do you got on strength?
Oh, there's so much to unpack on this strength card, but for me, it's gentleness versus brute force. You know, um, it's it's easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar. You know, the figure on the card is using compassion instead of, like using, yelling at the lion. She's like, come here, honey, let me get this garland around your neck. And, she's, killing it with kindness instead of like, a wild lion tamer and just whipping the
Right.
thing. She's, using the power of love and compassion to accomplish her goal. And that's what I love about that is, you don't always have to, you know, plow through things and tough love everything to death. Sometimes you need to use finesse.
So when this comes up in a reading for you, what is it usually?
Compromise.
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 Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give a little to get a little.
I can see that one of the things about this card that I always said is it takes strength on the lion's part not to maul the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The lion is overcoming their base instinct, their natural fears. When you look at the Hebrew letter association with this, the letter is, I think it's pronounced Tet, T-E-T-H. It means serpent, the transformative power of the serpent. So it's reaching down inside you to find strength to just
Well, that
change
makes
your world.
sense because you've got the
The
holding it
lemon
up. Yep, the like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail there with the infinity symbol. There we go. Yeah, there you go. There you can see it. Just like in the magician's card.
Yeah, it's when this card shows up, I know that somebody is going to have to reach deep down inside themselves to find something they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
or they weren't aware that they had.
Right. Definitely.
Sips it. All right, now.
One more thing. One
Yes.
more thing about this card. The mountain in the background is the same mountain that's between the lovers.
Interesting.
Drop
Drop the mic.
knowledge. Drop the knowledge. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. Teresa Bullard, Gaia TV. I'm just saying.
I love this card. There's a lot of different representations and a lot of different decks.
Mm-hmm.
One deck, the True Black deck, just has the lion there
Uh-huh.
with the hat of a hunter on the ground.
Wow.
People look at this card differently and take it to
Mhm.
different ways, but I always fall back on the basics. It's an 8 number, which means stability.
Mm-hmm.
It's an astrology. It is Leo,
Mhm.
so it's an outgoing, energetic card.
Mhm.
And the Hebrew Association is that it does bring transformation.
Absolutely.
So it's up to the reader to decide how you want to interpret it. But I love the strength card mainly because of the lemniscate over her head that is
Yeah.
in the Magus card, the Magician.
Yep. Absolutely. Beautiful card.
Okay, so next up, we've got the first significator card I ever used and still use a lot of the time, the Hermit. Okay. The Hermit, when it comes up in a reading from me, first thing I hear in my head was, whoa, pull back. You know, stop. You look at what's happening around you. Okay?
Mhm.
If you break the major arcana in two, 10 being the halfway point, 10 is the wheel of fortune where there's a natural ending, a natural change. And we'll get to the wheel of fortune next. But
Mhm.
the Hermit is a warning that the end is coming. Take things seriously. Pay attention to what's going on. It's a card of Virgo, so worldly matters
Mhm.
come into play. It's self-examination. What else? Oh, Hebrew Association is hand, and it is the hand of God,
Okay.
guiding and directing.
Mhm.
So you were saying some interesting stuff about his lantern.
What was I saying?
Well, she was teaching a spellcraft tarot spell class,
Ah,
and we were discussing. She had a little lantern that she had
yes.
gotten, and so it started a discussion on the Hermit.
This is the light within. So for me, the Hermit is about following your inner light. And the best way to do that is to go within and pay attention to your energy centers, your chakras,
Yes.
your light within. And the way you do that is through meditation. So for me, the Hermit is absolutely telling you to go within, and maybe a little solitude is in order, and maybe, time alone with your thoughts is definitely due.
One of the coolest representations I've seen of the strength card going backwards, because you said chakras, is the Darkwood Tarot, and it has a woman seated cross-legged meditating with serpent energy rising.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was the tie-in with what you're saying
Yeah,
about chakras.
yeah,
Everything wrong with it.
yeah. Also, we'll get to the Hangman, but I really want to show you guys the Hangman and the Hermit. The staff of the Hermit is actually related to the cross of the Hanged Man. And if you look real close, you'll see where am I going? Here we go. There's a face in there.
You blew me away
It's
when you
the
pointed
face
that out.
of the Hermit. So going, and when we'll get there, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but it has to do with going within and, paying attention to your inner light and meditation, and really find the answers are not without, the answers are within. And I'll circle back when we get to the Hangman.
Yeah.
The pin and that.
The major arcana as well as the minor arcana, they're progressions.
Yeah.
So you've got progression from the strength card directly into what you were saying about the hermit card, and now it's leading us into the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune card is a card of, I like your colors on yours.
I love the Radiant Rider Waite. Once you go Radiant,
Once you go
you
radiant,
don't go back. I mean,
the Hebrew association with this is palm. So you've got hand of God, but this is the palm that receives and releases. Okay, so fortune can come and go. You've got I can't stop saying astrologically. I say it funny. The astrological association is Jupiter, so it is growth and abundance. But depending on how the wheel is turned, is how things are going to grow. Okay, either your bad luck is growing or you got good luck growing. But either way, this is a natural ending to a cycle and the beginning of something more, is how I read it. You've got the Tower, the Death card. These are sudden, more quicker endings. But with the Wheel of Fortune, it's a natural progression. Things are unfolding as they are meant to. If they're unfolding in a bad way, take notice of it. Look at the cards around it, try to figure out what's going on, and see how you can go forward.
Exactly. And I look at the Wheel of Fortune as cycles and seasons, and the sun has phases, the moon has phases. We as humans have phases, and and just like you said, whether it's upright or reversed, is whether we're fighting those cycles or whether we are going with those cycles.
Yes.
And with the representation of the fixed symbols of the zodiac, we have the wisdom, to back up those cycles.
What she's talking about are the figures in the corner here. You've got a little angel dude, that's Aquarius. And you got the little water dude is Gemini. No, fixed air is Aquarius. Fixed water is Scorpio.
Scorpio, yeah, the eagle.
Fixed earth is Taurus, and then fixed fire is Leo. I don't know why they put a bird as water.
Because it's Scorpio. Eagle is Scorpio.
Okay, Scorpio is a water sign.
Yeah, it's confusing.
That is one of the things that is always, there's little things that I've learned to just ignore and deal with.
It is what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I got my tea. Yay.
And I know that the different parts of the wheel, the different layers of the wheel are the different stages of alchemy.
Yes.
I think that's really cool.
The little symbol inside is the three elements that make up life.
Yes. Yes.
It's sulfur, salt, and water. Mercury.
Oh. Hey, I knew something.
Yeah.
And the whole entire wheel is the sun. The solar wheel.
When this card shows up, things are either getting better or they're getting worse.
Yeah. If you're stuck in a cycle, it'll be reversed. And you need to do something different to break that cycle.
I want to touch on the letters in the center. The Hebrew letters are Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, which is Jehovah, the name of God. The tarot, if you do tarot, rota, oret, H4, is it H4? It means something. Each of those sentences combines and means something. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. But it's a goodie.
I have to bring my notebook next time because I have
Mhm.
all kinds of notes from Mystery Teachings of the Tarot.
Speaking of, did you had turned me on to doing the Gaia channel? Do you know I haven't got it? That big, beautiful 70-inch TV right there.
Mhm.
I was watching it the other day, just flickered out. My TV is gone. I am in mourning for my TV set. Yes, so I've been watching on my tablet.
I do want to talk about the animals in here. So the snake is the descent of the soul, descending, and then the descent of the soul, and then this is actually a combination of Hermes and Anubis. So it's a Hermanubis. Yeah, I knew it. And then the Sphinx up top. So this is the downward motion of the wheel. The Hermanubis is the upward motion of the wheel, but the Sphinx up top never moves. The Sphinx up top is unmoved by the wheel.
Sword.
And he has the sword. Um, so the wheel moves, but he stays center. So we try to be the Sphinx. I love this card so much.
It is a great card.
It's a great
It's
card.
either encouraging or when it pops up in a reading, I'm like,
Here we go again.
I've got to relate this. I speaking of, I don't want to say as readers, especially when we do readings online, sometimes we will touch on topics that we don't need to put our clients on blast with. Okay, if I'm getting a vision of something, say that you've been having problems with prison or deep is something serious like that, I'm not going to put it on blast. I'm going to have to word things very carefully. This happened yesterday or the day before, and I didn't want to put. I edged around asking certain things until she said yes, this is happening. I was like, okay, good, but I'm not going to put people on blast. I don't know how the readers feel.
Yeah, you have to skirt around it sometimes. When we receive those intuitive messages, it is not our job to call people out.
Yeah.
It is our job to give information, but it is not our job to throw somebody under the bus. That's not it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I think you need to go to a mental hospital. I'm not going to say things like this.
Right.
I'm not going to ask certain questions, but I am going to lead you to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had another point. I wonder what it was.
Was it?
I can tell you what the problem is. We're completely sober right now.
Right? Completely.
I
What is
have
up with that?
I have my pen up there, which I was going to give you.
Oh, okay.
I was going to hit you, but I forgot. Yeah, we live in Arizona, so. Next card up, we've got Justice. Now, Justice is neat because in a lot of decks, Thoth included Hermetic Tarot Justice and Strength the Reverse.
Yeah.
Because the storyline is a little different on the poster. But for the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we are doing Justice as the 11th card. So Justice is Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Justice is I can't remember the word, but it means ox goad. And the wording I learned it with means a guiding and correcting.
Okay.
With the ox goad. In my head, though, I'm like, move it that way is how I'm taking it.
Right. Right.
But is
correction. I get you. Yeah. Right.
Astrology, what did I say? Libra.
Libra. Mm-hmm.
Balance.
For me, the gray pillars She stands between, Gray is neutrality. So she stands between those pillars. She's like, it ain't personal. She's weighing, and you get the story of Ma'at and the weighing your heart against the feather to see whether or not, you've lived a life that is worthy of going to uh,
Yeah, the proper afterlife.
the proper afterlife. Yes. So she's impartial. I mean,
It's judgment.
yeah, she is not just weighing, your wrongdoings and your right doings, but she's also got the sword, so she's executioner as well. But it ain't personal, right? I mean,
sometimes
her
the
job.
decks have her blindfolded.
I've seen that
Traditionally, this
too.
deck is not blindfolded. My
Right.
Heaven and Earth deck over there is blindfolded. In that debate on blind justice or being
Mhm.
able to stare things in the face and make a decision comes into play,
Right.
depending on the deck that you have. What do you got on the pillars and the veil behind?
The veil behind, I always look at it as it's purple. So for me, it's spirituality.
Good point.
And
I've never known what to make of that veil personally, so I wanted your opinion. But the yellow in the background I associate
Mhm.
with communication.
Mhm.
I always, being a follower of Hermes,
Mhm.
communication is a big
Mhm.
thing with me. The other thing about this card is the green thing around the neck.
Mhm.
To me, that's always looked like a snake, and
Yeah.
it has always had
Mhm.
a transformative element.
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
And then we have pillars,
Mhm.
which are both the same color.
Yeah, I always see that as like gray is neutrality. So these are the pillars of neutrality for me because they're, just like she's sitting on a gray throne and the floor is gray, everything is gray. So it's like,
We're not going to totally tear apart the card because I don't want to get
We
into the
could.
color of
We
her
could.
clothing, the foot
Right.
sticking out from the robe.
But
Yeah, in readings, when justice comes up for me, depending on what cards are near it or around it, implies a personal balance, an emotional balance, legal issues, courts. It could be a message. It could be prison. It could be all kinds of stuff. So relying on the cards that you see around it and your intuition to gather the proper message, very important.
yeah.
Doing one card draws on readings really stretches you.
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
Because this could mean so many things. It really depends on the cards around it. Especially, did you do something and maybe get caught? I mean.
Yeah, and since it's Libra, I take it to another aspect. It's mental. There's a lot of mental things, a lot of mental issues.
Right.
And with the yellow, mental, so.
Right. So it could be mental balance. Like, do you have some issues that you need to work through? That you need to judge maybe your own cause and effect, your own actions, possibly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The Hanged Man.
Yes.
Now,
so here we have the light from the Hermit lantern is in the halo now of the Hanged Man.
I like your background is blue and mine is lighter blue gray, but
yeah.
What you got?
For me, this is Odin hanging from Yggdrasil to gain the wisdom of the runes. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's Jesus. No, Jesus hung from the cross like this, and he's hanging from one foot, just like Odin did. So to me, this is Norse mythology. So, but either way, he's hanging, and he does not look distressed.
No, his face is serene.
He is at peace. He is literally at peace and serenity, and he is meditating. He is gaining wisdom, as we see with the halo here, that he is enlightened. This is enlightenment. And sometimes we have to put ourselves in a different perspective in order to gain that wisdom. And I think that's what this card is all about. You know, sometimes you have to look at things a little differently.
Yeah.
All the way upside down in order to see it from a different perspective.
Unpacking this card is difficult because it is a Neptune card, which is card of dreams and illusions, which is in seeing past the dreams and illusions. Here's something that I sent to actually just a friend. He sent me a message yesterday, and it was a one card draw, and I drew the Hanged Man. And I say, man, my true black deck.
Oh
yeah. Okay. But this is what I sent to him: the Hanged Man, a time of reflection. This card is ruled by Neptune, the planet of illusion, dream, and motion. It could mean the need to sacrifice worldly things like romance, in order to gain something of greater value, like self-empowerment. It's a card that says one aspect of life has ended. It's time to plan for the next phase.
Okay.
So planning comes into account for me when I see this card. Oh, I almost dropped it. I love that he's so calm. He's sacrificing himself. Yes, I do associate this with Odin also. He's sacrificing certain things, not just for the sake of sacrifice, but to gain something else. He's planning. So that's where this card comes in for me.
Very good. Very good. I like that explanation as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get to the end, to the World card, you'll see the World card is in a very similar leg position as the Hanged Man. So keep this in mind when we get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
This all makes
You
sense.
guys
This is why
don't
it's a
understand
journey.
how difficult it is for us to edit and not just keep babbling on about certain cards.
Because it's a story.
It is. It's a never.
And we're trying not to give too many spoilers. But alas,
everyone needs to understand the cards on a personal level. They are people, they are energies. You need to get to know 78 different ones and how they work together.
For real.
You walked into a family mess.
It's a journey.
Just start trying to understand it.
Right.
So, next card up, Death card. Ooh. See, your skeleton looks nicer than my skeleton. Mine looks scary.
Remember what I said last week, digital versus hand-drawn.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm telling you, Radiant. I'm going to buy you a Radiant deck. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it.
The Death card has changed.
It absolutely is. And the figures on the card are how different people view change. So, like, this guy down here is just laying down, like, forget it. I'm just gonna I give up.
Yeah.
The kid, he doesn't care. Children don't care about change. They're like, fine here, He's got his little toy. He's got flowers. He's like, oh, it's fine. This woman, she's like, no, no, oh, woe is me. I can't change.
Oh,
No.
woe to me.
And then this priest or Hierophant here, he is like, praying, to, the horse and the rider, you know, begging,
Begging.
no, please.
Yeah.
And, and the horse and the rider is like, it ain't personal. Change is going to happen. We all have to change. We all have to transform. Life, death, rebirth, it goes around and around and around and around. And I happen to think, I get excited when I get this card. For reading, I'm like, oh, yes. And people are like, are you crazy? I just got the death card. And I'm like, this is a good thing.
If you look in the background,
yeah,
you've got the rising sun.
Thank you. City. Some people think it's a setting sun. No, it's a rising
sun.
Thank you.
If it was setting, I think the colors would be different.
Yes, absolutely. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. The light's gonna shine. I mean,
there's no way around it. That yes, this is a painful card at times, and I say painful emotionally because
sometimes
once again, you've got the water running through it. What we're talking about.
Yes, I've got her on my
so
earring.
This is spirituality. This is emotion. Oh, yeah, girls get all the best stuff. Next to the setting sun, the sun is seen through two Hermea.
Yes.
So two stone standings dedicated to Hermes and messages.
Mm-hmm.
So things are off on a new adventure when I see this card.
Yeah.
Yes, depending on what cards around it, it could be painful, it could be emotional, it could be mental, and yes, one time it was physical. And that was added up with the Ten of Swords.
Yeah.
But I've talked about that before. I'm not going to talk about that again. Death comes for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not something we can try to avoid. You just have to live while we have the opportunity.
Absolutely. This is why I get uncomfortable at funerals, because I don't think of death the same way that other people do. I don't wear black. I usually wear bright colors. People don't invite me anymore.
Did I tell you what I'm doing at my funeral? And then my husband already has instructions?
No, tell me.
Okay. Do you know those large toy keys that you put on a jacket in the boxes like that? I found one on Amazon. So they're going to play that.
Oh my God.
The Jack in the Box
awesome.
music during the thingy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I would like everybody to bring bumper stickers and just slap them on the coffin.
I don't want a casket. I want to be cremated. And
I'll be cremated, but I'm still having a viewing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
With that plan, you definitely need.
If I can get them to make this face. Like you say, death, I don't view the same way as other people.
One more thing about this card. I know we talked about ad nauseum about this card, but the flower is harkened back to the flower that the Fool carries. So.
Yeah, upheaval, change, new thing. This is a card of Scorpio too. It's an emotional card of defense and protection.
Yep.
It's a family card, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So
the whole family's there.
Yeah, the whole family's there. They're not having the
whole
best
family,
but they're there.
Yes.
Which brings us, after the pain of the death card, we have temperance. In Thoth the Hermetic, it's called art.
Oh, I like that.
And art, the Hebrew word letter for this means prop. It props up something and guides. This is a healing card.
Very much so.
This is a card of healing.
Very much so.
Also because it's associated with Sagittarius, the card of
Mhm.
healing. Okay. They are blending two opposite forces together.
Mm-hmm. Alchemy.
Alchemy. They are creating some balance. Okay. This is one of my favorite cards. Any
Me
card
too.
that has an angel on it, I
Mhm.
love. Okay, because it just to me says higher spiritual thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically, like the Archangel Michael. However, with the irises over here, I know. Watch me. It reminds me of the Greek winged goddess of the rainbows, Iris of the rainbow.
The counterpart to Hermes.
Yes, who carried the prayers of man to Mount Olympus, and she rode on a rainbow. And actually, in the Witch's Tarot, it is Iris because there's a whole rainbow in the background and everything. It's such a beautiful card. I should have brought
A
it.
lot of cards view it as Iris. I've always viewed it as Raphael.
Really?
Yeah, Raphael.
The only reason I say Michael is because of the alchemical symbol for fire.
Yeah, it is. But Raphael to me is a healing angel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, healer, magician, angel for sure.
That's why.
For sure.
But there are angels associated with the cards. We're not doing that today.
Oh yeah, we can go deep dive.
Yeah.
What do you think about the crown at the end of this pathway? What does that mean for you?
See, you have a crown. I don't. I have a glow.
It's just a glow.
Yeah. To me, it means in the world card,
Mm-hmm.
the Hebrew letter associated with that is stamp or mark. Okay, because it marks the end of your journey.
Oh, okay.
Okay, to me, that path and that rising sun in the crown is the end of the journey.
Okay, so this
goal.
is saying like you're getting there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I love that she has 1 foot. For me, when this card comes up, I see 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the rocks. And that to me tells me moderation.
Yeah, that's the whole message of the card.
And
yeah,
when it's reversed, it's excess.
Yes.
But
the tempering didn't take.
The tempering didn't take.
See,
Exactly.
When we use the word temperance, I always think back to swords, creating swords.
Yeah.
Swords are built by tempering them in heat and water.
Yep.
I really don't know how they make swords, but they temper them to make them stronger, which is what this card is all about. Tempering something to make it stronger, healing.
Yes.
And I dig this card.
Yeah.
You guys can see why we love the tarot. It's just
there's so many layers. You know, when you begin to unpack, there's so much. It's like we're learning things from each other that we've been reading for 30, 40 years, and we're still learning things.
Yeah.
And even though we still stare at the same images, we're still learning new things because there's so much.
The cards, as I said before, are people. She knows these people in a certain way. I know these people in a certain way.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons I love doing these videos. How do we view these things differently?
Yeah.
And it does expand my knowledge greatly.
For sure.
I'm still blown away with that whole face on the
the chariot.
The epaulets.
The comedy tragedy mask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that one's pretty cool because I was a drama geek, so.
So was I. So in conclusion, we've hit strength, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, Duh. And temperance and temperance / art. This marks the end of this part of the Fool's journey. And on the next stage of the journey, we're going to go on a higher plane.
Now we're ready for ascension.
Yeah, now we're ready for ascension. We're going to talk about the last cards of the major arcana. All right. So, Joey, I want to thank you again for being here.
I love it. I love to talk about the tarot. Like I said last time, it's my favorite subject to talk about. I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours and shut me up.
I wouldn't. For purposes of this video, yes, we will. We have to check each other when we do this.
I know. It's like we can't talk for an hour about one card, but we could.
Yeah, if you guys are following along at home, watching the video, check out these cards, separate them 777, and meditate on how they differ.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize there's different paths to magic arcana. Magic arcana. So yeah, but
and see what comes out for you guys. See what you see. What symbols come out to you. What do you notice? You know, what speaks to you? Because those are the things that are going to matter to you and that are what are going to pop out in a reading. And some things you will notice in a reading that didn't pop out when you were studying it. Go with it.
Yeah.
Go with that flow of consciousness, just like the High Priestess card.
The more we do these videos, the more we're going to get into how they relate to us on a personal, spiritual level. We'll get into that eventually, but for
we
now,
can't help it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't. For now, the goal is to explain to everybody how we view these 78 friends of ours.
Yeah.
And we would like you to know that in a similar fashion. So, Joey, I want to say goodbye to you for now.
All right. Thank you. I love this. It's so fun.
All right, you guys, I'll see you on the next video. Okay?
Bye.
And let's hit end stream.